All right, so today we have Shannon Powers, and Shannon has a content and social media agency. Welcome, Shannon.
Hi, Olga. Thanks for having me.
All right, so I want to tell you about Shannon's story. Shannon joined my program, Launch Your Online Agency, and she had just started out. She was freelancing, doing content writing, and she's been using the information in my course. And one of the things I told her when she joined is you have to start delegating because you're doing everything and you're never going to hit six figures if you're just, you're the only one in your business, right? You're the only one doing everything. So I want to talk to you about Shannon because she recently hit one of her highest revenue months in her business, and so I want to let Shannon explain how she went through that whole journey.
Oh, it's been quite the journey. So I've been in business officially 2 years. I started off with no background in marketing. I had left academia and wasn't sure what to do next. I went on Upwork and was stumbling around looking for something to do with my skill set. It took me many, many bids to get my first job where I was writing LinkedIn profiles. And I quickly realized that both two things. One is that there's an opportunity here to grow a business because lots of people needed my skill set, which is writing. And the other thing is that if I didn't learn the business side of things quickly, I was never going to be able to make a living doing this. Around the time that I made these realizations, I heard Alma speak on a podcast. And I was so impressed with the tools that she had given. It was so substantive that I started Googling her name and came across this. I think these courses were just starting, actually. So I joined right away. And from almost the very beginning, I joined Launch Your Own Agency from the get-go, and I treated myself as if I was an agency long before I was. So I could set up the systems and processes that Alma recommended. And so that as soon as I got my second and third and fourth clients and I began outsourcing to writers and graphic designers and now even an editor, I had all the processes down so that that transition was seamless and the clients didn't feel it. And I was able to really grow at a pace that I could have never expected. So thank you, Alma.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You actually took the information and applied it. So I'm super happy. And I want to say thank you for doing this. I mean, every time I hear these stories of my students in the program, I just get so excited. I'm just like, I can't believe it. So what I want you to tell us is where are you now and how did you hit, because you mentioned that you hit your five figures already in your business.
Yes.
Tell us, how did you get there? What was that mindset you needed to have to get there?
That's a really good word. I think mindset is incredibly important. And I think that you have to believe that you can do it. And then you also have to be really realistic about how you're going to do it and what it's going to take. And that realism is part of what helped me to realize that I had to outsource. Because when I started to do the math and I thought through how many clients it was going to take and at what price point to make it to five figures or a month, or six figures a month, sorry, five figures a month, sorry. That's what made me realize, okay, I have to really like shape up my processes. And so the way I did it was really delivering excellent service at every level, over delivering when I could, and making sure that all the clients came back. And Alma, I don't have a website yet. I've grown my business entirely by client referrals and word of mouth. I'm only now starting to take opportunities to become more visible. So doing something like this, I'm actually speaking on a panel at the end of the month in person in the DC area. But honestly, in the beginning, it was entirely organic. It was doing my best for the clients I had, asking for referrals, and they wanted to give referrals because they were happy.
Right. And that's one of the things I teach in the program is that if you're starting out, you really do need to work on giving value and doing a really good job with the clients that you have. Even your first couple of clients, it's funny because Shannon was just like me. We started out the same way. We actually kind of have the same business because she does a lot of content and social media. And I do content because I do a lot of, when I first started out, I was doing a lot of blog writing. And I actually started out on Upwork just like Shannon. And the thing about freelancer platforms is that sometimes you don't get paid a lot in the beginning. And I know you know that, Shannon, right? So, right, your first couple of clients, it wasn't a lot of money.
No, but my attitude toward it was, in fact, like they're paying me to go to school because my first clients, I was a sponge. I listened to everything they wanted. I really had to research to be able to deliver what they wanted. So my attitude was, this is my apprenticeship, and anything that they paid me was worth it because I was practicing in a somewhat safe environment and really honing my skills.
Right. And I tell people that all the time in the beginning, because as a social media manager or a digital marketer, you are providing a technical skill. And so if you're going to be technical, you have to know what you're doing. You can't just be like, it's not like, a life coach or somebody who does some, uh, consulting. If you're doing implementation like what Shannon does and what my agency does, you have to have good technical know-how. You have to know the strategy. And Shannon is, after all that experience, she was able to prove to her clients. And I know you told me that, how do you get clients now? Because I think at one point you said people just kept referring you, right?
Yeah, now I get a lot of referrals. For example, the one of the last clients that hired me in October is part of a women's business group, and she has recommended me to a bunch of other women in her group, and now they're all calling me for help as well. So there really is sort of a domino effect once you get going.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh, I'm so happy, so excited for you, Shannon.
Thank you.
Oh, one more thing, just so you can kind of explain to other people, what are some of the things that you felt like help you really scale as far as some of the things that are in the program? I know we talked about project management, so can you kind of explain how you use that in your business to? I know you said you have outsourced, now you have a team of people, and how
Mhm.
does that feel, and what was that process like?
It feels really good. It's challenging. I think that client management and like your own staff management are the two hardest parts of this type of business. Um, and so at the end of the day, you really have to try and see what works. But for me, your processes really help me get going. So the weekly client meeting is key. That's the time where I download with my staff. I tell them everything they need to know. Most of the time, if a staff member doesn't deliver what I want, it's because I wasn't clear enough with them about what I needed. So the weekly meeting is really key. I use Trello to organize all of the deliverables and to see where they are at any given point during the week. I've now brought on a project manager to help with that process as you had recommended. And at this point, I now brought on an editor. So it's really important that we had that platform where we could all keep track of everything all at once, because when you hire, as you know, when you bring on anyone new, you have to trust but verify to make sure everything is going right. So Trello helps me just check in and make sure that all the client projects are on track to where they should be, because at the end of the day, it's my company and my name, and I need to make sure that everything's getting delivered as it should. But those processes were super helpful. And then, of course, all of the substantive knowledge that you've shared was great.
Oh, thank you, Shannon. Oh, I'm so proud of you. All right, so the next step for Shannon is what? A million, half a million?
Oh yeah, why not? I want to keep on scaling. I'm starting to have a better sense of how I could make my packages bigger. So if a client comes to me with, often clients don't know what they need. So if they come to me and say, oh, I think I need social, or I think I need something else, I'm starting to put together packages to be able to tell them, oh, here's what I can do for you, and offer them more than even what they're asking for. And so I want to keep doing that, really build up a repertoire of results that I can share, and keep adding to the business.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Shannon.
Thanks, Alma.